We are at the point historically where if you were to look at the actions of Abraham Lincoln and you were to say that his actions were justified, if Donald Trump were to right now suspend habeas corpus along transport corridors for the National Guard and for the arrest of seditious conspirators, it would be perfectly within historical precedence of Abraham Lincoln. My point being...
Do you want that to happen?
No.
Okay.
But that's not what matters.
All right.
What I want is immaterial. And it's funny because this stuff is very stressful, particularly for my family.
Yeah.
And I remind my wife, hey, I have no control over the president saying punishable by death or a senator saying on X, pick a side.
Yeah.
But to those that are paying attention, the realization is clear. You best start believing in civil wars because you're in one. And so when he's saying there are people that seek to murder you, the death threats that I'm sure you get and that I get. I went to Phoenix to go to Turning Point and do the show with Charlie. We spent, I believe it was about $11,000 because I had to have high-level security to move around these areas because the death threats I get, and I'm called a milquetoast fence sitter.
Yeah.
The reality is there are people that are trying to kill us and each other, and we are very much at the inflection point of when Bleeding Kansas was becoming a full-scale civil war. That is not a guarantee that this does become one. But Charlie Kirk is dead, and to the best of our understanding, it appears to be an individual motivated by political ideology opposed to Charlie Kirk's ideology decided to kill him. There are tremendous failings of a security team, for sure. That's a whole other story. But the fact is, murder is on the menu for these people. Mm-hmm. We are very much in a hot conflict. The question then becomes, and I hear this all the time as to Auron's point, we were willing to bomb Dresden, align ourselves with the Soviets, and nuke Japan, 2 cities. What was it? Was it 80,000 in Hiroshima or something?
I don't know.
I don't know the full numbers. And now there's a question of, in these United States, who do we align with, though we may not fully appreciate what they do, because the end result would be beneficial to us. I don't believe you are saying, let America burn. I believe in this regard, and to the point Auron is making, you are pointing out that Nick is the enemy you are fighting.
Right.
So when you say we aligned with the Soviet Union, he's saying we're at war with the Nazis. You're aligning Nick with that enemy you are fighting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just horseshoe theory. I see Nick as no different than the left. They're both working for the overthrow of the United States.
I don't think it's horseshoe theory. I think Nick is the issue with calling Nick right wing is to imply that being white is right. And I mean right leaning, not correct, right?
Right.
Nick's views largely overlap with leftists.
Right.
The difference is Nick says white people good and the left says white people bad.
Right.
That is not a left-right distinction right there. That's a racial distinction.
Yeah.
So if they're both leftist economic identitarians, they actually are just different factions of the same political ideology.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. And that's Matt Walsh said something to that effect, just the other day that, because people were calling him out. Hey, you just called out someone on the right. You said that we're supposed to stop fighting with the right, and he said, "Well, I don't consider these people to my right." And that's kind of the argument that I've been making. That's kind of the argument that James Lindsay has been making.
I would add.
To be fair, everyone is to James's right.
And he's the unfortunate person that I think was right earlier than a lot of people about this.
This is another question of warfare and willingness to win. That again, I know the issue of James Lindsay is not the most pressing one, but I'll frame it in terms of your ability to win what you're fighting for is severely incapacitated by your willingness to bring infiltrators in your midst to destroy you. And if you're not able to recognize that, you will lose.
I disagree that
the guy whose whole career is infiltrating groups he hates, presenting false arguments to make them look retarded, you can't recognize he's doing that to you.
I don't think that's right at all. No.
It's certainly what he's. No. So what else is?
I think he's just a little too trigger happy, and I think it gets amplified online.
Is he famous for infiltrating groups and making them look stupid?
I don't know what you mean by that.
He tricked a bunch of academics into publishing retarded arguments on the left.
Yeah. He also did it with American Reformer. He got him to publish.
And how many followers did they
have?
3,000?
American Reformer?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're
a publication on the right.
This is I will say this. James Lindsay is the best at this. That's why he got so much attention for doing it. And when intention, emotion, all of these things matter very little other than results. and the actions being taken. And if I was going to map out your argument and quantify success and failure, I would argue that your willingness to embrace the person, he's literally just taking a shit all over everything you're arguing for, and you're willing to accept it because he's good at it. He's very good at it. I would argue that a man who is famous solely for infiltrating groups, tricking them into presenting false arguments, I don't understand why all of a sudden you're like, but he's not doing it now. And I'm like, but it's all he's ever done.
I thought it was brilliant. He destroyed the whole, and
now he's doing it to you.
He pulled back the curtain of the peer review system. What a bunch of hacks these people are in our universities.
He's doing it to you now.
He did it. I think he was trying to expose how sections of the right are starting to go the Nick Fuentes route. They're starting to become friendly.
I think James.
What happened with Nick Fuentes in saying we need to unite with the left, become socialist and ethnically homogenous? That's exactly what James Lindsay has been trying to tell everybody for years.
James is a deconstructionist. It's all he does. He deconstructed Christianity when he was a new atheist. He then deconstructed the peer review process when he was doing that. Then he deconstructed the woke stuff, and now he's
that's what I do. That's what I do through the Babylon Bee. I'm a deconstructionist of bad ideas and bad philosophies.
The point being is
it's tearing down sacred cows. It's death works against evil.
The point is
that's what I do.
All you ever hear from James is don't believe this, don't read this, don't do this. The question is, what does James believe? Like what is it? When was the last time you had him stop and say, "Here's a Christian political theorist that I would like to highlight because he's correct"?
The point I'm trying to make,
it's nothing. It's all deconstruction.
He believes in liberty. It's very simple. Liberty first is something that he says all the time.
It's an empty slogan.
I'm not interested in debating the personality traits of James Lindsay.
Yep.
The reason he comes up is because it is patently obvious he is the most detrimental force on your side. And you have adopted him, and you are unwilling to recognize the simple mathematical equation. He is not a conservative. He has always been opposed to conservatives. He has said he should be their leader, and his enemy is national conservatism. He is famous for infiltrating groups and presenting false arguments so they look dumb, and he is consistently doing that to you. Now, by all means, you do whatever you want.
Charlie Kirk loved James Lindsay.
I will
love James Lindsay.
What Charlie
and
Kirk,
Tucker Carlson.
Yeah,
indeed. And he brought us to Amfest as well because he wanted a big tent movement so that everybody was operating within the umbrella of national conservatism.
And you've seen that meme of the dam, Charlie Kirk, and then behind the dam is absolute total retardation.
That's where we are.
That's where we are. His assassination was devastating.
My point was not to, you make the point about James's personal beliefs and things like that. My point is, there is one side saying there are enemies that seek to destroy us, and we must monitor their actions to see what they do. Mm-hmm. Intention, emotion is meaningless. What matters is we as a people, the actions we take, and where we'll be 1 year from now, should that be the case. The final point on this. With your adoption, bringing the enemies into your midst, you will lose. And the bigger picture is, I think what Auron is pointing out, that in times of war, one must be willing to do side with the Soviets if we're going to stop the Nazis. And what you're saying is, I'm going to actually join an infiltrator, let them run amok and cause damage because you trust them.
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry. I just don't agree with your characterization.
Why make Carl Benjamin an enemy?
I don't know enough about Carl Benjamin.
Carl, why make me an enemy?
So Carl Benjamin, he and I got into a little back and forth about it was over the Declaration of Independence, because he said that no nation has ever been founded on a document or something like that, and I shared a picture of the Declaration, and this kind of argument ensued, kind of similar to what we said, that is the document defining the people, or do the people make the document? I think it's a little of both. I think that this argument is between kind of classical liberalism, moral realism, and kind of like this more like ancient, almost pagan folk idea on the right.
You understand that classical liberalism is not moral realism. Those aren't the same things.
Well, no, but
okay.
And Carl's not a classical liberal either.
No. James Lindsay is,
He's not. He's absolutely not.
He's a progressive.
I might.
John Locke said that atheists should be banned from public life. He is the father of classical liberalism.
My question is
James is an atheist.
You know he's making enemies for you. It's not helping you. You're not growing your movement. Your movement is being damaged by this extensively.
This is my only concern. I'm not concerned with who's on my side or who's not.
Then you'll lose.
Maybe.
Also, that was the entire debate.
My only concern is to speak truth to the best of my ability, to be faithful as I can with the platform that God has given me, to call out evil and bad ideas wherever I see them, no matter what side it's on, no matter how politically expedient it is. That's what I feel I'm going to be held accountable for when I stand before God. God's not going to say, "Did you own the libs? Did you help your side win?" He's going to say, "Were you obedient to me? Did you speak the truth in love? Did you do what's right, no matter what?" If my side is if it loses, if it's in the minority, if it's destined for failure,
and you will, because Nick has no greater ally than James Lindsay.
I disagree.
You would be wrong, because when Konstantin Kaysen, you or Seth or anyone out comes out and says woke right, and a regular person says, "What does this woke right thing mean?" And you say, there are people who align themselves with conservatism who use the oppressed versus oppressor arguments similar to the woke left,
right,
and we believe they share a moral worldview that is particularly Marxist.
Yep.
A regular person goes, "Interesting." Then James comes, shits on the floor, throws it in their face, and they say, "I'm going to go listen to Nick Fuentes instead, because at least I'm getting shit thrown at me."
Yeah.
My point ultimately
I think it's fair. We can maybe agree that James's approach and his tactics are not helping him, or not helping him.
Well, he's not. He's hurting.
Also, as
helping Nick.
As Chris Rufo has pointed out, this frame of oppressor versus oppressed would make the Declaration of Independence woke right, because it's literally a list of your grievances. It's got a section called the grievances
against your oppressor.
The grievances against the oppressive king.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Culture War podcast. We're live every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon. So subscribe and come hang out.